Welcome to This Explainer. Okay, so let's talk about something that we all experience, yet somehow we just kind of treat it like it's perfectly normal. Picture this, all right? It's been raining for just a few hours, nothing crazy, but almost instantly, the roads you drive on, they literally start to disappear underwater. Your neighborhood floods, the local drainage overflows, and suddenly daily life just entirely grinds to a halt. You know exactly what I'm talking about. We've all been there, right? And usually, we just shrug it off and call it a monsoon problem. But what if I told you we've been looking at this completely wrong?
So let's dive right into this by asking the core question. Why do our neighborhoods actually flood? We really need to completely challenge this universal assumption that we are simply dealing with a weather problem. Guys, it is not just a rain problem. It's something much, much deeper. And honestly, understanding it changes absolutely everything about how we design our cities.
Section 1. The system design failure. Moving beyond the monsoon problem. Currently, we tend to treat stormwater management entirely as a monsoon problem. We basically sit around waiting for a handful of government workers to magically fix every single flooded road. But the reality? The reality is a system design failure. See, water doesn't respect administrative boundaries. It just flows through the land. And here is the fundamental flaw. City land is fragmented into thousands and thousands of private parcels. But the responsibility to drain it? That is completely centralized in one single government body. Think about it. When responsibility sits in one isolated place, but the physical problem spans literally every single private backyard, well, the system just fundamentally breaks. Section 2. A shared responsibility system. Government and landowners together. The solution here is that stormwater control absolutely must become a shared responsibility system. Not just the government alone and not just the citizens alone, but both of them actually working together. So on one side of the table, we have the landowners. In this new system, the more abled landowners contribute more, simply because they control more land, and naturally, they generate more runoff. Their job is to execute the last-mile drainage. Then, on the other side of the table is the municipality. They act as the overarching engineering authority. They're the ones responsible for building the massive main backbone canals that actually carry the water entirely out of the city.
Section 3. Building last-mile drainage, the micro-solution to a macro problem.
Let's zoom in for a second, moving from that massive citywide view down to the micro-mechanics of it all. The absolute crucial point here is a very specific dimension, 1 foot by 1 foot. Under this shared framework, every single landowner constructs a small, totally manageable boundary drainage canal, exactly 1 foot by 1 foot, right along their property line. It's a micro-action, sure, but when you repeat it across a whole city, it creates a truly massive piece of infrastructure.
Now let me be absolutely clear about this. This is not just some random construction where everyone goes out and digs a ditch wherever they feel like it. No way. It happens in strict coordination with the local government. The municipality remains the strict engineering authority here. They completely control the drainage alignment, they determine the slope and the direction of the water flow, they figure out exactly how each plot connects to its neighbor, and finally, how all those microdrains link up to the main canals. So basically, the landowners build the last mile, but the government designs the map.
Section 4. Handling disputes and enforcement. Closing the loopholes.
You know, any system is really only as good as its enforcement. So what actually happens when a plot of land has no clear owner? Maybe it's tied up in an ongoing dispute or has an unclear title. Well, if there is a dispute, the municipality does not wait around. In step 1, they step right in and construct the drainage themselves across that disputed land, using public funds, which ensures the water flow isn't interrupted. But step 2 is the true genius part. It isn't free. That construction cost is recorded and automatically added to the land as a recoverable property tax. Then in step 3, whenever that ownership is finally resolved in court, whether that takes months or years, the system automatically recovers the cost. Boom. There are absolutely no loopholes to break the chain of drainage.
Section 5. The continuous drainage network. Zooming back out.
Okay, now that we understand exactly how the individual pieces are built and enforced, let's look back at the macro vision. Imagine tracing the narrative of just a single drop of rain. It lands on a property, right? And it immediately enters that 1 by 1 foot boundary canal. From that plot, it flows seamlessly into the neighboring plot. From there, it moves into the street drainage, flows right into the large municipal canal, and finally reaches a safe outlet way outside the city. Every single segment connects. No isolated drainage, no broken flow paths whatsoever.
This entirely changes the game compared to the status quo. It completely eliminates our heavy dependence on the government to go out and dig every single inch of drainage.
Instead, it ensures every single parcel of land actively contributes to the solution. And crucially for urban development, this scales automatically. Think about it. Whenever a new block of land is developed, the new drainage is inherently built right alongside it. Ultimately, it does away with those useless, disconnected patches of drains that just pool water in the middle of your street, creating a fully connected, living network instead.
It really all boils down to this one underlying principle. If land is continuous, drainage must also be continuous. Stormwater logging is fundamentally a land-to-land connectivity problem. It is definitely not just a problem for a public works department to try and solve in a vacuum.
I want to leave you with this final, completely critical thought. If water flows across land, shouldn't responsibility flow across it too? The solution is beautifully simple when we just change our perspective. The municipality designs, the landowners execute, and together they form one continuous, unbreakable network that actually keeps our neighborhoods above water. Next time it rains, I really hope you look at the puddles and your property lines a little bit differently. Thanks so much for joining me on this explainer.